Before I get into this video, I want to preface it by saying that I love Trunks as a character. From his drip, to his style, to his characterization, and writing, and backstory, I really do love Trunks as a character. So my goal with this video is not to attack this beloved character, it is to address the mischaracterization that has taken place in this series. But before I get into that, I have to lay the groundwork. First appearing on July 15th, 1991, our first introduction to the character of Trunks was when he stepped in for Goku and took down Frieza and his father when they came to planet Earth. And let me just tell you, this has to be one of the coldest character introductions in anime history. This boy Trunks pulled up all mysterious and cryptic as we had never seen bro before, and we knew almost nothing about him. The only thing we did know was that bro was clean. Bro pulled up with the all black fit, crop jacket and sword? Pressure. Not to mention bro's cut was clean too. So yeah, Toriyama was definitely cooking with bro, and the fans loved him pretty much immediately. And once they learned his backstory, they only loved him more. We learned that Trunks was the son of Bulma and Vegeta, and that this version of him had come from an apocalyptic future, where all the Z fighters were killed by androids 17 and 18, with the exception of Gohan, who ended up being Trunks' master, and he ended up training him to become a Super Saiyan. And Trunks became the second Super Saiyan ever seen in the series. He had Vegeta over there fuming, angry that he couldn't even get the number 2 spot, but that's besides the point. Shortly after, Toriyama introduced us to present day Trunks, or Kid Trunks as we call him, and this Trunks would become the primary Trunks of the series, often being paired with Goten as comedic relief. And I touched on their dynamic in my Goten video, so if you haven't seen it, please make sure to give it a watch, as I worked really hard on it and I think you'll like it. But yeah, back to this video. While this duo has had their moments, they haven't really done that much in the grand scheme of things. And I think most fans can agree with me that this is a big wasted opportunity, as both of these characters have a lot of potential and a lot to offer the series as a whole, with them being the sons of the two main fighters of the series. But that's not what I wanted to talk about, as that actually has started to change recently, as you can see in the most recent chapter of the Dragon Ball Super manga, where Goten and Trunks got a lot more focus than they've had previously. And if that's a sign for what's to come, then us Goten and Trunks fans should be really excited. But with the death of Toriyama, RIP Toriyama, in all seriousness, bro will be missed. But yeah, with his death, we're faced with a possible predicament, that being the mischaracterization of Trunks. And let me explain what I mean by this. As I explained earlier, in the Android Saga, we were introduced to the character of Trunks, or rather, the characters of Trunks, as we got two different iterations of him. Future Trunks and present Trunks, or like I said, Kid Trunks. And while both of these characters are Trunks, you know, the son of Vegeta and Bulma, they are not the same character. You see, Future Trunks grew up in an apocalyptic timeline, a very sad reality where he was pretty much alone with the exception of his mom and Gohan, and he pretty much grew up in a constant state of fear and anguish as his world was pretty shit. And to top it all off, he had no relationship with his father, with his only connection to the guy being his mom and future Gohan, who, let's be honest, probably didn't like Vegeta all too well. But yeah, add that all together and you get a guy who's pretty serious and focused, as he hasn't really had the opportunity to be a happy-go-lucky kid, as his world was almost pretty much always in danger. And I know you guys have seen the memes of just how traumatized this guy was. And yeah, bro was dealing with a lot. Even years later in Super, bro was still getting shook by seeing Android 18, even though at this point bro was strong enough to deal with her pretty easily. But yeah, that's how traumatized bro was. I mean, his master died in front of his eyes, and it doesn't really get much worse than that. So yeah, it makes sense why bro is the way he is. And on top of all that, he grew up with his mom and Gohan, which made him be a pretty humble and polite guy. Unless you put him in front of the androids, then bro was crashing out. But other than that, bro was pretty chill. He was a pretty cool guy to be around, and I think that's why many people connected with his character so much. Now on the flip side of that, we have present Trunks. And present Trunks is a bit of a rascal. He's a bit of a punk. He has some angst to him. He's often mischievous and rude, as he's been shown to disrespect Goku, and he wasn't above cheating when fighting Goten. He's been shown to be arrogant, like when he stated that Goku didn't look like he was that strong, and disrespectful as well, as seen when he and Goten tried to jump Mr. Popo, which is crazy because Popo was really hanging with them, but that's besides the point. All of his behavior, of course, stems from the fact that he grew up with his father in times of peace and was also very spoiled, which is natural, of course, seeing as he comes from the richest family in the world. But yeah, bro was a bit of a brat. I want to make this clear. I'm not coming at bro at all. I actually like these things about his character. I think it fits him. I think he has the charisma to pull off this personality. If you think about it, he's honestly very similar to Boruto. Both are spoiled kids who don't know the struggles of their predecessors, but they are also extremely talented in their own right. Yeah, they're pretty similar. And at this point, many of you guys may be thinking, what is your point exactly? What is the predicament that you're talking about? Well, the predicament is that oftentimes this Trunks and that Trunks are often made to be the same character. And I know you guys are thinking, Super, didn't you just describe them completely differently? Yeah, I did. And what I mean by that is, in the almost 30 years that Dragon Ball has ended, we've gotten a very limited amount of focus on present Trunks as an adult. You see, at the end of Z, we got to see Trunks all grown up, but that was only for less than 3 chapters. And while you may be thinking that this is the Trunks that I'm referring to, it's not. You see, while this Trunks does have similar mannerisms to his future counterpart, it could be argued that this is just Kid Trunks grown up and matured. He does still retain some of the traits that he had from being a kid, such as his cockiness and witty attitude, albeit drastically toned down, which, like I said, could just be attributed to age. So no, I'm not referring to Trunks at all. However, this was not the last time that we saw adult Trunks, as after the end of the Dragon Ball anime, we got the infamous Dragon Ball GT. And love or hate Dragon Ball GT, it gave us a lot of character development for many characters, Trunks included. However, the characterization of this Trunks was extremely similar to that of future Trunks, with the only differences being this Trunks' technical expertise and role at Capsule Corp, that and the lack of PTSD. And this is something that has always bothered me, as it makes no sense for this version of Trunks to act this way, especially when he acted pretty much completely different as a kid. The present timeline version of Trunks is supposed to be cocky and a little bit arrogant. This is a Trunks that was raised by Vegeta, so he's supposed to have these character flaws. But with Toriyama being gone now, it is possible that we get a Trunks more akin to his future counterpart, and that does not need to happen. These two characters are two completely different characters. And up until now, it hasn't been a problem because most of the time we see present Trunks as a kid. But since at this point, Trunks has become an adult, or at least grown up, in the Dragon Ball Super manga, there is a chance that without Toriyama's direction, this could happen. However, I am hopeful that that won't be the case, as I think we've seen in the Dragon Ball Super manga that Trunks still has his playful personality, a little bit of arrogance here and there, and still gives off that spoiled kid vibe. So I think that as long as Toyotaro continues down this road, we're set to get a more realistic approach to the character of Trunks. And like I said before, this is no hate to either versions of the character. I love future Trunks, and I love present timeline Trunks as well. And I really do hope to see more of the present timeline Trunks in the future. But I just want this Trunks accurately depicted. Now if you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate your support. This video was just something I wanted to get off of my chest for a while. So yeah, I really do appreciate you making it to this part. I really don't have anything more to say, so yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe, and it's the boy who cried, Super Saiyan, out. Bye.